Okay, this tutorial is going to teach you how to use Actionscript. Now, we're going to just do some really basic stuff like stop and start. And you'll note if you press play, you can see this little animation. If you were to export this, it would just loop over continually and never stop. Actionscript will allow us to stop and start stuff whenever we want. Okay, and you're going to need this for your final assignment. So we've got our little frame-by-frame animation thing here. It's not the greatest, but what we're going to do is we're going to add actions, and to do this we should usually always make a new layer. So we're going to make a new layer down here, and Actionscript should be put into keyframes, which are these little circles here. So if you press F6 at the beginning, that's usually where you have your start command, but it plays automatically, so don't really need to. But at the very end we want to stop. So we're going to go with F6 at the end, which will put a keyframe at the end, and you can see it here. That little keyframe has been put in at the last frame, the very last one where the end of my animation is. Okay, and from there you click on that, and then if you press F9 or if you right click on it and say actions, you'll come up with this window. Okay, now I warn you, it is very difficult. Not really. Okay, so all you got to do is write stop, and then open a bracket, close a bracket, and do a semicolon. Okay, you can also slide this little slider down here and have a look, and you'll see that stop is there as well. And if I was to double click that, it would type it in for me. But I'm just going to get rid of that because we don't want two stops. Okay, now it'll stop at the end. Okay, and if we were to press Control Enter to show how this would look, you'll see it plays through and it stops. If that stop command wasn't there, which is, I'll just delete it now. If I press Control Enter now, it just keeps looping forever. Okay, so we've added a little bit of control to our timeline. So we're just going to go with stop, leave it in there, and now it stops. Now, how do we make it so that the person can play it again after it stops? We are going to make a button that you can click on that will make it start again. Again, to make a button, generally you just make a shape. I like to not have strokes. I'm just going to make mine blue. And I'm going to draw it right here in the middle, and I'm even going to use this little pen tool here in white, and I'm going to write replay. And I'm even going to draw a little arrow. Okay, so that is going to be my replay button. That's going to appear on this last layer, on this last frame. So you've got this frame, and your little man out of the frame, and then the button appears in the very final frame. Okay. Now we're going to highlight this, and we're going to right click and convert it to a symbol, and we're going to change it from movie clip to button, and we're going to call this one replay button. Press OK. And you'll notice that it's been turned into a button because it gets this little blue box around the edges and this circle in the middle. And if you go to your library, you can see the replay button is here and ready to go. Alright, now to make a button work, you need to change a few settings on it, and to do that you have to double click on the button, and it comes into this kind of inside the button window, and you can see that we've got this up, over, down, hit. These all do different things, but the easiest thing to do is just to press F6 3 times, 1, 2, 3, so that all these are grey, and now our button will work. So now you just go back, and now it's a clickable button. But at the moment it doesn't do anything, so we need to add our Actionscript to it. So we're going to click on our button, press F9. We need to add some commands. So the on option is what happens when you click, or as it says, a mouse event occurs. So if you double click on, it says on, and it gives you these brackets, and then we're going to go with on release. And you'll notice it types itself in there. And then in this little squiggly bracket over here on the right, we're going to write play. Open bracket, close bracket, semicolon. So what it's going to do is it's going to, on release of the mouse button, it's going to play. Again, it's going to play from the end, but we know that Flash documents loop, so it'll play from here and start again. And if I close this, we'll have a look. It'll play. And now my replay button, you'll notice it turns into a little hand, and it plays again. Okay, and you can just keep doing that over and over again. Okay, That is the very basic action scripts. It can get a lot more complicated than that, but generally speaking, you've got your stop, and on your actual button, we've got our on, release, and play command. Okay. All I want you to do is make some kind of animated sequence, create a button that plays it through and loops it, or a replay button. Make sure it stops at the end as well. And that is all you need to do for this tutorial.